brand new hard drive I put in, trying to install the operating system, and I can't. And Apple can't help me. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So this is going to be the whole story of what happened to my MacBook Pro. I gotta say, chilling in the couch is kind of a vibe. It's late, I am so tired, but this whole situation is fresh on my mind. I just want to talk about it. Tell you guys the whole story of what happened. So the question is, what really happened to my MacBook Pro? It is a very long story, but I'm going to try to make it as concise as possible while still making sense, because this happened over a good 2-week period. All of these steps I'm about to explain, yeah, it's a lot. And the few friends that were asking about it and I was telling them what happened, and it was a lot for pretty much anybody to understand the full story. I'm going to explain this the best I can. Bear with me. So there was nothing wrong with my MacBook. I bought it in the middle of 2017, brand new from the Apple Store. It was actually right when I started my YouTube channel. So it has been 4 years now. It's also hard to believe that my YouTube channel is 4 years old. Happy birthday, Essential Living Mommy. So with the editing that I'm doing, the videos that I'm making, I ran out of space a long time ago because this is a 128 gig hard drive. I'll get the small one, I'll just record and delete, it's no big deal, or just use an external. It was after 2 years or so, about 2 years. I wasn't saving my videos, but it was around 2 years I started to have like that it's full. And I was like, okay, so the hard drive's full. Well, let me just delete everything. So I literally didn't keep anything on my computer. I would just record videos, edit them, upload them to YouTube, and then delete them off of my computer. Obviously, I quickly ran out of space. iMovie uses a lot of memory as you edit as well. That added up quickly too. And I also already moved my photos library onto an external. And that was like 2 years ago as well. Basically, I needed more space on my computer because it was one of my longer videos and it kept kicking me out of iMovie because it's like, you don't have any memory. And it just kicked me out. It just shut down iMovie. So that was extremely frustrating. That was last summer. So I deleted everything I could, and I've been okay since then, recording smaller videos and having everything on the computer deleted. But now that I'm creating more content for you guys, I wanted to actually switch out my hard drive in the MacBook itself. I didn't want to mess with an external. I was like, let's just do a 1 terabyte. It should be a relatively easy swap for my husband to do. And he was actually like, well, we'll just change out the hard drive. No big deal. So there's the little screws on the back. Yeah, there's 6 of them. We didn't even have the right screwdriver. We actually had one of the 2 that we needed. It was like a P5 and a T5, I believe. I have the kit that you need now. I can link that down below. But my neighbor actually let us borrow his kit, which was so sweet. I actually waited a couple days before I even tried to swap this out because we swapped it out on a weekend. Yeah, I had to borrow screwdrivers from the neighbor. With the SSD, you also need an adapter. We installed the adapter with the new hard drive. It continued to pop up this error that file ? When it would restart. Basically, it like wouldn't find the hard drive. Or like the computer was pulling up, but the hard drive was not existent. Like it didn't pull up. I ended up plugging in my Lacy external hard drive. When I would reboot with that plugged in, it actually did show up in disk utility. By the way, I actually never even went into disk utility. I never like went to disk utility and was like messing with the settings or formats or reformatting anything. Like the whole APFS and Mac OS extended journaled, trying to download the newest operating system. I tried to download Sierra. I completely wiped the computer clean and I was just trying to install the operating system. Absolutely no backups or anything. And I was downloading the operating system from the web, connecting to Wi-Fi, downloading the operating system, letting it reboot, and trying to install Big Sur or Sierra. I was just trying to get the computer up and running at this point. So I thought I had a bad hard drive because I couldn't see it. And then once I could see it, trying to download the operating system, I kept getting the file ? Box that pops up. So then you have to try to like go back in the GUID partition. I was removing and erasing volume groups. I was doing all kinds of things that I didn't really know what they were, but I was literally on the phone with Apple for 2 days straight because we actually figured out that it had a problem, like it just wouldn't boot up. That was on a Tuesday night. It was like midnight. I text Apple and was like, hey, I got a problem. And We scheduled a call for Wednesday morning at like 9 a.m. I was on the phone with Apple from like pretty much 9 to 6 that day, just constantly on the phone. I did get like one call back. It was kind of a mess. But basically the first night when it was booting up, once it did install correctly, and after I plugged in the external, I could see my internal, was able to format it, and then download the operating system onto my internal hard drive. It would go through downloading process and then installing and all of that. It would reboot, come back up, and when it didn't have the file question mark, it would be like select your country, accessibility, and it would say not now, connect to Wi-Fi. And of course I did that because that's obviously how I downloaded the operating system. Then it would automatically pop up remote management. So it said, this computer will be automatically configured by this company for remote management. And this is my former employer from years ago. So I was like, how in the world? I'm like, this is my personal computer. I bought it with my money at the Apple store personally, like physically went there, and this is my computer. I never brought this computer into the building of my former workplace either. So I was like, how is this going to be configured by my old work? Like, why? What in the world is remote management? No, skip it. Just say no. If you say no or you hit more information, it just says like, contact them. They have access to your computer. It's sort of saying that your computer isn't yours. It's like your computer, it belongs to them and they own it and they can completely erase it if they wanted to. So I was like, no. Bring you back. A few years ago, I enabled this myself. And at first I was just so confused. I'm like, why? What in the world is happening to my computer? I'm like, it's a brand new hard drive. I'm connected to my own Wi-Fi in my own house. Like, why is this happening? I figured out that I personally accepted some remote sharing when I was viewing schedules on a website. It wasn't even like an application or anything. It was just on a website. It was our schedules website that we used at work. When I would log in to view schedules at work, I was able to see my schedule as well as everybody at the store, which makes sense because I was a manager. It was important to see because things did change throughout the week. So if I printed it, it wasn't like I would see the changes, and sometimes changes happen. Sometimes you have to adjust. At home, when I would log in to the same website with my same login, it would only show me my schedule as if I was not a manager, which was frustrating because the timing that I worked, it was really early in the mornings and I needed to know who was going to be there with me. Somewhere, somehow, years ago, I do vaguely remember doing this now. I definitely selected something in my computer that allowed my company to basically share or have remote management of my computer. I didn't know that's what I was doing at first. If I knew that, I wouldn't have done it. But I definitely enabled remote management on my end. I didn't submit anything to them. This was just my doing on my computer. I gave them access, basically. And of course, when it popped up, I was like, do I want to do this? Yeah, sure. I want to see the schedule. So I accepted it. And years later, didn't remember that I did that. So this is something that I couldn't find any information about because apparently it doesn't happen very often with remote management or MDM. Mobile device management. It's something that you need to go to like the little apple or this side, the little apple in the corner and go to like system preferences, and somewhere in there you can disable it. I never got to that point because I had already completely erased my original hard drive. That was where my mistake was. But again, I didn't know that it was a problem. Brand new hard drive I put in, trying to install the operating system, and I can't. And Apple can't help me. Not only did I erase my hard drive, it's a brand new hard drive. There is nothing saved in this computer. Everything is wiped clean, but I can't install the operating system and Apple can't help me. Yeah, how do you feel about that? Super expensive paperweight. Apple told me, well, call your company and see what they can do because they need to remove the remote management or MDM, the mobile device management, on their end. You need to talk to some internal tech support. You need to find the right person, but once you do, it's just a couple clicks and they're able to remove it for you. I was like, okay, let me try to explain this to them. So that was actually Wednesday and Thursday. We got to figure out what's happening to this computer. It was the 2 full days. So all day Wednesday, I was on the phone, couldn't figure it out. We were basically just stuck still trying to install the operating system and find the hard drive. And then I figured out that plugging in the external made it show up. Sierra didn't show it, but once you're in the Big Sur, it would actually show. You could hit view and put view all devices. Under view, there's actually an option. But if you're in the Sierra operating system for downloading. It doesn't have view as an option. Gosh, I learned so much about my computer I had no idea about. So I put in a request like, hey, I need help. I called twice. I was basically told, hey, we can't help you. You no longer work here. And that's not our device. We can't help you. So I called my former boss. She put in her own ticket the next morning because it was late. She put it in the next morning and was able to submit like the ticket. And I got a call. The request was put in and it was also escalated to level 2. So it was already an escalated case. And then in the meantime, I was still trying to download the operating system because I didn't realize that those two were necessarily connected. I was trying to install Big Sur from the external because it couldn't see the internal. I was just trying to download Big Sur. I was like, can I say no Wi-Fi on the second part, or do I need to bring it into Apple just to get them to Mac, just transfer it over without connecting to Wi-Fi? I was like, well, it connects to Wi-Fi and has a problem, but that's the only way I can install the operating system. It's just a whole thing. Remote management, and to remove it, you go into system preferences and then remove a profile. Like it's a profile in there if you have it. So on Thursday, my boss had submitted a ticket. I got a call back from them pretty much right away. And I explained to him what was going on. We talked for like 45 minutes about the whole situation and what I was going through just trying to install the operating system, and that I was coming up on this remote management screen and I couldn't go any further. And I told him, this is what I got from Apple. I told him, I need someone who has access to MDM, or the mobile device management, someone who manages company devices. And I gave them my serial number. I need it to be removed from device enrollment or remote management. And it's the Apple Business Manager website, business.apple.com, and they do it remotely. And once I was able to tell them that, then I was back with Apple saying, okay, I submitted the ticket. They're looking into it. It's escalated. And Apple was like, okay, well, let's see what we can do on our end. There's a 50-50 chance we could do something. We need to find your receipt. My receipt for my computer that I bought 4 years ago, and we went through a move during that time. Do I have my receipt? No! Honestly, I did actually have my box with the receipt in the box until last summer. I got rid of it last summer when I was cleaning out my closet. So yeah, it was the same day. It was Thursday. It was sent to level 2 support, and they were told that they need to release the device from the MDM. So on the same day, like I said, I was talking back with Apple. I had the original tech guy that was helping me with the whole installing the operating system issue with the hard drive and everything. He switched me over to a different department. This guy from Apple, he said that they were actually a really small department and I could wait on the line for about 30 minutes or call back in a little bit when they are not as busy. I was like, okay, well, I will wait, I guess, because if I call back, I could still be in a line. So I was gonna wait. And I waited like 5 minutes and they were like, hey, that was fast. That was like 5 minutes. Wasn't expecting that. And it was the most excited I had been. I was like, okay, I have some hope, because he told me that he could be the guy that could actually release the remote management issue. I was so stoked, you guys. Like, so happy. And mind you, I've been on the phone for days, just on the phone, staring at my computer not working. I was put on hold actually at one point. I finally grabbed a chair and sat down because I was standing too. I was standing in my bedroom and I had my MacBook open, stuck at the remote management screen. I finally got a chair, sat down, on hold with the hold music on my phone. And I was just looking at it and I'm like, this is like really depressing. This is how it ends. This is the end of the computer. I was at a loss with the computer, you guys. It was like really slow, not like just elevated music. It wasn't like happy. It was sort of like chill. I was like, wow. I've been on the phone for a long time. I was originally going to be calling the post-sales department to find the receipt. And they were actually like, well, why don't you call the store that you bought it from? Because they have that on file. So I went to call the store that I bought it from. I haven't been to a mall in a very long time, beginning of last year. So I went to call the store and it closed weeks ago. Just weeks. It's not like a long time. The Apple store I bought my MacBook from closed weeks ago. And that's where I needed to get my receipt from. I told the guy at Apple that told me he could help me, maybe. We just need to find a receipt, but I might be able to help you. It's sort of like if you can prove it's yours, I can help you remove remote management kind of thing. So of course I'm panicking. I'm like, I think I threw away the receipt. I was literally had him. I'm like, can you still hear me? I had him like on a shelf in my closet, and I'm pulling bins down because I reorganized and I labeled everything sentimental. Don't do that, by the way. Like, actually label what it is. Everything can be sentimental or just like older stuff. And yeah, actually label what it is. I'm just telling you, because if you run into a situation, which I hope nobody ever does, I told him that too. I was like, don't label all your bins sentimental. It won't help you when you're looking for something. So I couldn't find the receipt. I told him the month and the year that I bought it, about the day. Like, I gave him I'm like, yeah, it was the middle of the month. And he's like, okay, well, see if you can find some sort of proof of purchase. I'm like, dude, I don't know. I used this card. I went on the website and I was like, it only goes back a year. And of course I started panicking. I'm like, what credit card statements only go back 1 year? That's crazy. And of course, how I would typically check it was I'd pull up my computer. I can't pull this up. I can't get in. So I was like, well, if I was on the computer, I'm like, let me see if I can view like the desktop version. So I did that like late that night. I think it was actually like 1 a.m. on like Friday morning. I found my credit card statement that had the transaction date, the post date, and the Apple Store number that I got it from, and the total. I was so stoked. I was like, yes, I have proof. Print, let me screenshot. And he's like, okay, let me see what I can do. I'm off for the next couple of days, but give me an update if you hear back from your company. I'll see what I can do on my end, but no promises. 50-50 chance that this will work. So I was given like a 50-50 chance that I had to get my computer back. That same Thursday that my boss made the ticket, I got a call back from them and explained to them for like 45 minutes, okay, this is what's happening, and it was escalated to level 2. I called back later that afternoon to update it. I was like, hey, I got a guy at Apple. I have instructions of exactly what you need to do. Here's his number, here's my number. And they were like, oh wait, that ticket was closed out. What? Why was that ticket closed out? It just was escalated to level 2 this morning, and they closed it out because it said it was a duplicate. So I'm glad I called back and got everything put into a new ticket. I gave him an update for Monday. I called my company back on Tuesday. I was told that they are still working on it. And they said it was already escalated. It was transferred to another department. They're still working on it. And I made sure I gave them my phone number. So I made sure that they called me back, not the Apple guy, because I had the instructions on what the person needed to click once they were in Business Manager, which is business.apple.com. He gave me exactly what they needed to do on their end. So once I got in contact with them, I was able to say, hey, this is the steps that you need to take to do it. And once you get hold of the right IT guy, it'll be good because they know what you're talking about. And I'm just gonna tell you guys what the steps are because I couldn't find any information on it. And like I said, it took me 2 days to figure out exactly what needed to be selected on the company's end. So whoever this person is, the IT person at the company has to have access to Business Manager, which is business.apple.com. Once they log in, on the left-hand side, they'll see devices. They'll see a big list. They enter the serial number, and on the right-hand side, they have to select Release Device button. They select yes, remove, are you sure, yes, and it's done. So I followed up with the company on Tuesday. They were still working on it, and I added my phone number. Made sure that they called me because I had the exact directions of how to release it. Then on Thursday, so a week later Thursday, Tuesday was when I called. They said they were still working on it. And I also let Apple know, hey, I checked in and did a follow-up with my company. They're still working on it. Kind of gave him an update. He said, okay, that he is unable to remove remote management on his end. And so that was the day I was told that Apple could not remove remote management on their end. So I was super sad. And I definitely could have just continued to wait and hope that I heard back from my company. That was my last hope. That was it. It just needs to be released. I didn't know how long that was gonna take. I didn't know if it would ever happen. I felt really defeated. I was so upset because there was nothing I could do at this point, completely out of my hands. I was like, I'm trying to create more content for you guys. I need my computer to edit. I was editing solely on my phone. It took me forever to edit on my phone. Forever. I'll edit shorter videos here and there, but a longer video, you guys, I was editing on my phone. It was really, really bad. So yeah, I was editing on my phone. And then I got to the point where I was like, I can't handle this. I can't just wait So I ordered an iMac. And of course, I'm glad I didn't continue to wait longer, not knowing what was going to happen, because it says it's going to be here in 2 to 3 weeks. Also, I didn't know that it was a brand new computer, like a brand new release a couple months ago. I had no idea. I just knew that I needed a computer. So I ordered an iMac, and I'm sure I'll do like a setup and unboxing of it when I do get it, but it has not shipped yet. So after all of that stress and pressure, just trying to figure out what's going on with my computer, you know, actively on the phone, trying to figure it out, and then the waiting it out, is there anything else I can do? On Thursday, I got a call. I was stoked. On Thursday, I got a call from my company, and they were like, "Hey, Lauren, here you're having trouble with your MacBook Pro." Yes, I am. I've been having trouble. It's been like 2 weeks. No, 12 days. No. Actually, if you count the time that it took for us to figure out the adapter issue too, because I went through 2 adapters that weekend prior as well, because I thought it was an adapter connection issue instead of just the hard drive. The second adapter is actually the one that I needed. That was a whole mess as well, because I was trying to message the company about the hard drive too, because I'm like, it's not showing up, and then sometimes it was and sometimes it wasn't. It just wasn't reliable for me. And I was like, I don't even want it. Give me my original hard drive and I'm good. I just want to get into my computer. Just want my computer back. Like, that's all I kept saying. I just want to log in. Like, that's it. So on Thursday, I got a call. They were like, "Okay, all right, cool." He's like, "All right, I can do that, no problem." After I explained to him what was going on, he's like, "Okay, cool, I got it." And actually, it took me by surprise. I was actually eating and I got the call. And I was like, "Oh, a call, all right." Like, I was answering all of the calls like all the junk calls, all the spam calls. I was answering everybody for like a whole week, just in case somebody had an answer for me. So I got that call on Thursday in the afternoon. I was eating lunch. I was finishing it up, but I was still sitting down eating lunch. And I was like, oh, you're here gonna help me. Oh, crap. And I was like, I hadn't thought about it in like a week. I mean, besides me calling in to check up on it, I hadn't thought about it. Like, actually been on the phone talking about what happened for a week. So he's basically like, "All right, so tell me what's going on with your MacBook Pro." Oh, like, hey, so it's in remote management. And I just started being like, blah, blah, blah. I couldn't, it took me a minute to actually calm down from excitement, needing water, not being able to form sentences. I'm like, okay, well, what do you need to know? Because I'm just a jumbled mess and I got like 4 pages of notes. Like, where do you want me to start? So once I kind of calmed down and been talking to him for like a few minutes, he's like, "All right, cool. That connects some dots for me and I understand what's going on. And yeah, cool. I gotcha. Like, I got a meeting in a couple minutes, but I can get this done in a couple hours, no problem. And if I can't, there's a couple guys that I know that can. Yeah, for sure. No problem. We'll get it done in a couple hours. We'll give you a call back when it's done." What? I'm so stoked. I was like, you have no idea how happy I am right now. I'm like, I know you haven't fixed it yet, but you have no idea how happy I am. I was just like, "Oh, I'm gonna have you back. I've missed you." I was just so excited that I was gonna have my computer back. I was just stoked for those few hours. I was like, I'm just so excited. I'm like, what am I gonna do first? Which video am I gonna edit first? Like, it was just so funny, because by that point I had a bunch of videos recorded. I just haven't been able to edit any of them. But at this point, all of those videos are done. So they're on the channel. Yeah, but I was so excited. Like, my little girls, they heard me scream like, "Yes!" And they were like, "What, mommy?" What? And I was like, I'm just so excited. I was like, "Mommy's computer's gonna be fixed." And they were like, "Yay!" Like, clap. Like, my little one was clapping and like super stoked for me. You would think I won something. I mean, I did. I kind of won my computer back, but it was a super big deal and I was so stoked. That's like the best word for it. So I knew I was gonna get a call back in a couple of hours. I was at the point where I was like, okay, I'm ready. I did everything. I'm ready for them to call me now. And I was like, we have like a virtual class. We've got dinner going. The girls got baths. And I was like, I really want to get a shower, but I don't want them to call me while I'm in the shower. But knowing that's probably what's gonna happen, they're gonna call me in the shower. So I set up one of my little like adjustable clip thingies that has like a bendable like adjustable thing next to my shower. And that took me a couple minutes to set up. Literally stepped in the shower, got my hair wet. Like it was almost wet. It was like 3/4 of the way there, like fully soaked. The under part of my hair was still dry for the most part. But so you know, you get in the shower, you kind of try to get your hair wet, you're like working the water through, and then the phone rings and you're like, not working the water through, not working the water through. You're like, get the water out, get out and answer the phone. And I'm like grabbing a towel and like, I'm just all over the place, like, answer it, it's them. And the water wasn't even warm yet. Let me just add that. I was trying to hurry already. So the water wasn't even all the way warm yet. So I was chilly, getting in the water, trying to start rinsing my hair. And I'm like, abort the mission, abort, get out. So squeeze the hair out really fast, grab a towel, answer the phone. Hey, yeah, it's me. Yes, I'm so excited that you called. I'm like grabbing like a towel, I grabbed like 2 towels and I was just, you know, let me run to my computer really quick. And I'm like, what do you need to know? What do we need to do? And I was like, I know your steps. I know what you need to do. And I'm just laughing because I'm like, I'm freezing cold. I'm wearing a towel, dripping wet. And I'm trying to like stay calm and focus because it was a different guy. And I was like, hey, yeah, I'm Lauren. It's my MacBook Pro. Please help me. You need my serial number? Do you want the steps that you need to take? Do you have access to Business Manager? Do you have access to Business Manager? I'm so stoked. And he was like, yeah, I'm the one and I got you. Yeah, so I explained the little bit that he needed to know and he said he removed it. I already had the operating system kind of downloaded and I went to log in and it wouldn't let me, but it also said that it couldn't download whatever file. So I had to go back in, erase everything again, and re-download and reinstall the operating system. So he was waiting for me to do that. I was like so excited. I was like freezing in a towel, just trying to like download the operating system for like the millionth time. And I was like, I just want to get dressed, but I want to get a real shower and I just, I want my computer to work. He was just on the line with me waiting for it to download and make sure it was good after he removed it, that it would download the operating system and I'd be able to get in without the remote management anymore. So he was waiting on the line to make sure it was good and went through. He was working while I was just waiting for it to download and I was just like, I'm so excited, but the waiting is killing me. 5 hours later, no really. I mean, it was like 45 minutes, but it felt like forever. But I finally was able to continue installing the operating system. So he just gave me his number, whatever number he called me from. And I was like, I'm gonna text you either way, whether it's good or I need help. So I let him know it was good and I was able to get into the computer. That was one of the best days. I'm so, so, so happy about it. It's very pretty, but it would have been like the most expensive paperweight ever. So glad. That is the story of what happened to my MacBook Pro. It was a super long story. I definitely got twisted around with telling my story in there, but if I waited any longer to sit down and talk about it, I was going to forget more. So I hope this was entertaining and helpful. If you guys have ever enabled any kind of remote access, please make sure that you disable that before you wipe your original hard drive if you are trying to upgrade your hard drive, so you don't get stuck in the same situation that I have, because even that guy said that he had done that, like removed it once. I think he said once or twice. It's a rare thing for them to have to remove it that way because my serial number is not on the list of their company devices. So it was definitely a little bit more in depth than most people were even understanding, because I was like, no, it's my computer. I bought it. I found my proof that it's mine and I need it to be released from your system. Yeah. Super interesting story. I don't wish that situation on anybody. And all of the time I saved from not having to travel to and from work to check a schedule, I definitely spent that and many hours more on the phone trying to figure this out. So I'm super glad it's fixed, and now I have my MacBook Pro and I will soon have my iMac with the new M1 chip, and I am so excited because it's gonna be super fast and probably a lot easier to edit with as well. So I'm excited to show you guys that when that gets here. I mean, it hasn't even shipped yet, but I'm so excited about that. And the whole situation about changing the hard drive just escalated like real quickly. It's not a simple swap, at least in my experience, and was not worth it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it entertaining or interesting. Probably something that nobody's really heard before, at least my specific situation, because like I said, these people just didn't even understand what was happening. So I was trying to explain to them like, no, it's not your device, it's my device. Here's my serial number. This is where you need to go to fix it. You have to talk to the right IT person for them to understand what is going on. At least that's what I've understood in my experience with this situation. But all of the videos that I was looking up, none of them were helping me figure out exactly what was happening with my computer. Nothing helped me. So if you see remote management, whatever the company is, that's the company that you need to have them remove it for you on their device management end. So I'm done talking. I've been talking way too long. It's been a long couple weeks. I'm so glad I have it back. I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.